This is going to be outside of my regular content, and so I don't think that many people will watch it. But April is National Child Abuse Prevention Month. For those of you that don't know, I was sent to a therapeutic boarding school when I was 16, and these places are still very much active, and they absolutely should not be. I've done a few podcast interviews, a couple of interviews with like the news about the school that I was in. It's been featured on the Sunday Times cover multiple times because of the abnormally high death rate of students due to overdoses and or suicides. So the program that I attended was called the Family Foundation School. It was located in Hancock, New York. It was really abusive, and we had no access to the therapy that we were supposed to be getting. And I know that a lot of these programs are like tear you down to rebuild you programs. The problem is they tear you down and they don't rebuild you. And you're stuck dealing with the consequences of the CPTSD that you've gotten from the stay at the school. My program has been featured on the cover of the Sunday Times, multiple articles written on it. I have done podcasts and news interviews. I actually did one with my mom last year, a news interview, right? Because I personally believe that the parents were manipulated as well, right? The parents believed that they were doing whatever was necessary to save their child. And the children were so afraid of punishment to tell their parents what they were enduring. So I was at the school from 96. I walked the day after I turned 18 in 97, right? The school did try to change their policies and procedures as the age of the internet was coming up and the stories of the abuse that we were, telling online, the parents were able to find it, right? So the school had to make some changes. So instead of being wrapped in a blanket with duct tape, securing your wrists and your ankles, you were then put into a quiet room. I have never heard of a good program, right? Every program that I have interacted with somebody that was in, there was all kinds of abuse, mental abuse, any kind of abuse that you can imagine, even when it came to food. They would withhold food, right? So I think that this month, I'm going to give you some statistics about institutionalized child abuse because it is still a very real thing. And I think that a lot of people, like that cognitive dissonance, doesn't allow them to see it for what it is. These programs are abusing teenagers for profit. That's what they're doing. And the staff is abusing the teenagers. And also, students abuse teenagers. But we'll get into that later. But anyway, keep an eye open.